We're live. Good evening, Bella. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. I'm packing. I'm ready to go for the next event. Doesn't get better than
So,
that.
yeah, so you're going to Beach Brawl, right?
I am. And it's one of those events that every single person that you hear it from says it's amazing. And so just to be there for my first beach brawl experience, I'm excited. I would say all of my friends are the media team, so we're bound to have a good time, get into a little bit of trouble. So
So I would say 2022 has probably been one of your better years, if that's a
oh my
fair
goodness.
statement.
I would say one of my better years, one of my best years, one of my hardest years. Um, you know, going from being a CrossFit coach to being an MC on the floor is it's a different role. And I'll be honest, I never thought that I would be one of, the MCs that gets to go to all of these really cool events. Definitely not something that I ever thought was an actual job, B was going to be my job. So it's been amazing.
How did you even get into it? Like, how does one become an MC for CrossFit competitions?
So I love this because it shows kind of the CrossFit community. So when I was a coach, I think it was 2021, someone who used to MC a lot of CrossFit events approached me and said, "Hey, have you ever thought of MCing CrossFit events?" Me, no, I don't even think I'd be good at that. I think that sounds very scary. I don't think I'd be good at that. And he encouraged me. He said, "No, no, no, it's okay. You'll be fine." And so I did a Hyrox event with him. It was so much fun. It was really my first taste of kind of the live fitness competition. And so after that, I thought, wow, what is next? What does it look like to keep doing this? So I did a couple more Hyrox events, and then at the time I was running social for an event down here in Austin. And one of the photographers was like, "Yeah, we're going to Miami in January." And me, Miami in January, that sounds like a dream come true. So I said, "Okay, I need to get there. I need to be there. That sounds like a great step in the right direction of being an MC." And so he referred me to Wadapalooza, got to do Wadapalooza, met all the amazing people there. From there, I've done events all around the States. I got to go to the Torian Pro. I've been to Canada. I've been to Spain. I just got back from Spain last week, and then going to Dubai in December. And then there's a bunch of events, stateside. So it happened very quickly. And I would say it kind of had the trajectory of a rocket ship, much less of an actual slope. It just kind of exploded. But I can't imagine a better time.
What did you do to learn what you were supposed to, learn your craft? Did you talk to other MCs out there?
Oh my goodness. So every time I go to an event, I try to learn as much as I can from the other people that are there. So everybody has a different story, they have a different background of how they got there. I try to learn everything from everyone. And so I can kind of try to blend my personality and what people think an MC should do, what an MC, in my opinion, should be able to do, and try to bring it all together. And something that's been really fun is there are some amazing MCs out there that want to share their craft. Dylan is probably my biggest inspiration. I want to be just like Dylan when I grow up. And he's not even that much older than me. So I'm like, oh my gosh, the time is ticking. Okay. But he has gone and done everything that I've ever wanted to achieve at this point as an MC. And I'm so excited that he continues to put me up for events. He gives me feedback, and it's a blast to see him out there on the floor. And then when we get to work together, it's really special too.
What is your definition of a good MC?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I would say a good MC is someone who does their research, someone who they're there and they're a presence that you can kind of rely on to have a good time, but they're not in the foreground. So it's not up to me to, be the show. I'm not the show. I want you to know about what's going on the floor, and I hopefully, give it to you in an entertaining way, but it's not about me. And so someone as an MC, a good one, makes it about the athletes and about the event itself, but in a way where you have that emotional connection with me through the event itself, I would say.
And you've only been doing CrossFit for a couple of years.
Yes.
That's a quick rise in the sport. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
so you started in 2020. Can you kind of share how you got into CrossFit?
Yeah, you'll love this. I think it's a funny story, and it is very on brand for me. I would say I'm kind of stubborn in the things that I believe and the things that I enjoy doing. And I had a friend who said, "Hey, you should try CrossFit." And my mom is a fitness professional growing up. She said, "No CrossFit. We're not doing CrossFit. You'll get hurt." And my friends, they were like, no, you got to do CrossFit. You'll love it. Me being stubborn, no. My mom told me my entire life I'm not supposed to do CrossFit. No, I'm not supposed to do that. Well, 2020, and I thought, okay, I think I'll try it. What's the worst thing that happens? And I did a free week at the gym where I was living in Texas, and I never turned around. It was just what I know now. And so from there, loving the sport and loving the just intensity of it all. I never really had aspirations to be an athlete. I love the classes. I love how hard can I push myself today in a way where I'm going to be super uncomfortable, but then I get to go home and it's over. I've learned my lesson at the gym. So from there, I mean, there is no real, I would say, limit to what people can do in the gym. And I love that aspect about CrossFit. I'm surprising myself every day, and it's so much freaking fun. It's kind of a bummer that I wasted so many years of my life not doing it and listening to all the people and the naysayers, but here we are. I'm doing it now, and it's a blast.
What was that? What gym was that you started at?
It was at Sawed Off CrossFit in College Station. So I was in school. I went to A&M for undergrad and grad school. And so I attribute all of my initial love and my love now for CrossFit because of them. And it's really sweet too. They have an event every year. I got to go back this year and MC it. And that, I mean, being home, it really felt like home. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something special about CrossFit gyms is they have that community. They do have that home feel. Whereas if you go to a global gym, you walk in, you might see some friendly faces, but it doesn't really feel like you get to go home. And so that's really sweet for me.
Do you remember your first workout?
I think my first workout was Murph, if I'll be honest.
Oh.
I think it was Murph.
Murph?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. And then from there,
you came back.
I came back. I know. I have this running joke that everybody's first class is a hero workout. And somehow all crazy of us keep coming back. I think after that, there was the next week I was learning snatches. I don't think I have a great snatch now, but it's definitely better than it was. I'll say that. It's better than it was.
There you
go. You got into coaching. So that's a relatively quick trajectory, as you were saying, kind of like a rocket ship, right? But only be in CrossFit for just a short time and then get into coaching. What made you want to jump into coaching so quickly?
So I was a swim coach for a while in high school, and I love coaching, and I love kind of investing my time and my energy into people. Mm-hmm. And from there, I joined this CrossFit gym in Austin when I first moved to CrossFit Central. And the owner approached me and said, I really like the energy that you bring to class. Have you ever thought of coaching? And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, a new sport that I don't know very well and a gym that I don't even know very well. Well, maybe. Okay. Yeah. So this was the first gym I coached at.
Okay.
And from there, I went on and I talked to my mentor at the time, Dior, and I told him, I said, hey, I think I want to go be a CrossFit coach. What does that look like? And he was like, well, you definitely need to go get your L1. It's $1,000. Let's figure out a way that you can, get sponsored to do that. Mm-hmm. And so he, through something he did with work, happened to know Dave Castro. And so they talked to each other. They figured out a way to get my L1 within a month. So I read absolutely everything I could. I'm just a sponge of knowledge. And so from there, I took the L1, I shadowed for a while, and I did all the HIIT classes in the morning. I'll tell you what, there's nothing more like earning your stripes than being outside at 6 a.m. coaching a class. Mm-hmm. But it was fun. It was a blast. And then from there, I started coaching CrossFit classes, coaching the barbell classes. I want to say I ended up with about 16 to 18 hours on the schedule when everything with the MC kind of took off. And then I had to make a choice. And I'll tell you, when I said 2022 was a really hard year, that was really hard for me to step away from something that I poured my heart into coaching because you have to. And I think that's something that is so special about CrossFit coaches is they do give you their all the time, every single class. Every hour that they're coaching, they're giving everything they have. And so, making that step and saying, hey, I don't have the time anymore. I'm gone from Thursday to Monday, sometimes weeks at a time. I can't be on the schedule anymore. That was, oh my goodness. There were a lot of tears there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Did you feel nervous jumping into coaching that soon after starting CrossFit?
Not really. Not really. I think my mom was a group fitness instructor growing up. And so I have always been around I'm in your face. I'm telling you what to do. Here's how we're going to do it. Here's how we're going to move. And you're going to have fun doing it. And I'm going to promise you're going to have fun doing it, even if the workout's brutal. And so I kind of adopted that mentality into coaching is we're going to figure it out together. We're going to have fun. We're going to stay safe. And I think what the CrossFit L1 does a really good job of is teaching you the basics. They're going to show you, hey, here's how you're going to move safely. Here's how you can kind of coach athletes safely. And then from there, it's on me as a coach to learn from the other coaches, continue my own education, and learn from, athletes on the internet, learn from coaches on the internet, and try to figure out how to be the most well-rounded, even though I don't have the years of experience on my side there.
You definitely have a good group of people to learn from with Carrie Kepler and Zach Thiel. I mean, there's some
my goodness
OGs there in that gym.
Yes. Yes, I found out very quickly the OGs of CrossFit know absolutely everything and everyone. And so I think for me, that was really helpful being around them and their entire family. Truly, they taught me so much. And when I had to take a step away, that was really hard. And especially it's a family-owned business and you got to take a step away and they treat you like part of the family. So.
Yeah. So what did your mom do specifically? What type of fitness?
She was a spin instructor. She was a personal trainer. She did all of the Les Mills classes. So Les Mills, in my opinion, is kind of like a CrossFit light, They've got the body pump action. They've got the abs. They've got the HIIT, everything except for a barbell. And so it's kind of fun to think about how my mom coached. And then here I am. I'm coaching my own thing. My mom, truly, I will say my favorite story ever with CrossFit. My mom had never wanted to do a class. She wanted to support me, but parents are parents. She came this year and her first CrossFit workout was the open. My mom learned wall walks, y'all. She did wall walks. She did box step overs. It was so fun. I was so proud of her. She was sore for, I think, a week and a half afterwards, and that's okay. Yeah. That's okay. But to me, that was really special because not only had my reservations for doing CrossFit and learning CrossFit, those came from her, but to see her kind of put those away and really support me in that was amazing.
What was her reaction to CrossFit after doing the open? Did she go back?
No. No, I think I would say CrossFit can be for everyone, but you have to like what it does to you.
For sure.
I think we're a little crazy in that we enjoy the pain, we enjoy the suffering, but it's a community. We do it together. It's fun.
Right. Shared suffering.
She's not that way, and that's totally fine. Yeah. We're good with that.
That's cool.
You were a competitive swimmer, I think, growing up, right?
Yes, I was. And I think the lat strength from that has definitely helped me to this point, for sure. It's, even though I'm 25 and I haven't competed in a while, that's been really fun to kind of see those different muscle groups show back up. Because as a swimmer, you've got these massive shoulders, you've got these massive lats, you're looking like that. And growing up, looking that way and performing that way wasn't the norm, I would say. I never felt normal, but now I'm in a sport where everybody looks that way and everybody's, kind of working the same muscle groups, and it feels so much better, I will say, being a CrossFitter than it was being a swimmer.
Do you still swim?
On the occasion. I live about half a mile from a Lifetime, so when I can, I get over there, but I will say it's very challenging to not want to push myself and compare myself to where I was back then. But it is like riding a bike. You don't forget how to swim. So being able to teach my friends when we go to the pool, kind of teaching them efficiency I would say, benefits all of us.
For sure.
Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
Okay, good story. Good question. I was born in Bethesda, Maryland. My dad was the chief of reconstructive plastics for the Army growing up. And so we got stationed a couple different places. We were in Massachusetts and then Germany. And then we got brought back to the States. And then from there, we were in kind of the DC, Maryland area until I graduated high school. And then I left and went to Texas.
But you started at Penn State, is that correct?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I went to Penn State for my freshman year. When I was graduating high school, my parents were going through a divorce, and I wanted to stay close enough to my siblings so that if they ever needed me, I could be there. They never needed me. They were totally fine. And so for me, after that first year, I was thinking, okay, they don't have the major that I want. It's freezing in Pennsylvania and they don't do well with the cold. And after kind of football season ends, there's not a whole lot that goes on in State College, and there's not a lot of things close by. I mean, you can drive to Philly, you can drive to Pittsburgh. That's wonderful, but there wasn't enough there to really fulfill me. And so I transferred to A&M, and I was like, if I had started at A&M, probably would have stayed there. I absolutely love it. And anytime anybody has any questions on where they should go to school, I just say everybody should go to A&M because it's the best school in the world.
Why'd you pick A&M?
So after my freshman year at Penn State, I interned at a law firm up in Dallas as a marketing intern. And the family there, they were a blend of Razorbacks and Aggies. And my parents both went to Arkansas. My dad said I'm not allowed to go there. So obviously I had to go check out A&M. Apparently it's the best school in the world. So I drove kind of, when I was living in Dallas, I drove all around the state of Texas and looking around, okay, what school is cool? I went to UT to check it out. I like the city vibe. That's where I live now, but it didn't feel like home to me. And I will tell you what, the first day I went to College Station, it was pouring down rain. I got stuck behind a train, and there's a train that just runs straight through the middle of town. It's loud. It's always there. So frustrating. But I got stuck behind the train. And in that moment, I realized that's where I was supposed to be. So from then, that was the decision. We were going to A&M. And then from there, I stayed for grad school too. And it still feels like home every time I get to go back.
For sports marketing, is that?
Yes, sports management. So I did that for undergrad and grad school. And then in grad school, I was doing research on athlete branding and personal branding and things like that. And so that ties in a lot to what I get to do now is all the branding that I learned before that I thought I was going to apply to other people. I'm applying it to myself. I'm my own case study, and that's kind of cool.
So when you were with the marketing, you talked a lot about just personal brand and how important that is. Can you talk a little bit more about what you mean by that?
Yeah. So I think personal branding is one of those things that it's really important to me because I think the internet has become such a thing. It's such a monster where you can be whoever you want on the internet. And that's a beautiful thing. But a lot of people, especially, athletes and honestly, everybody, they kind of get trapped in who I'm supposed to be. Who does everybody else want me to be? But your personal brand is who you are. And I think who I am to you in this interview and who we would be if we decided to go get coffee or go get dinner should be the same person. And so having that uniformity across the internet, you're in person, and just whatever anybody else would say about you, that's all of your personal brand. So within the research, we were looking, okay, best practices for social media. And then how do you build that brand on social media that actually reflects who you are in person? So for me, fitness is really important to me. You'll see that on my social media. Having a uniformed name, Miss Belle Martin, you'll find me anywhere. That's me. That's my brand. That's who I am. And so being able to actually understand who you are, that's also part of your personal brand. And I think everyone's always trying to figure out who they are. And that's the fun part. And it can change. It has to be this forever, but it can all change and grow together. So as you grow on the internet or as you grow as a person, all those things can kind of reflect and should be mirror images of each other.
Your Instagram started 2 years ago. What did you just jump on then, or what happened there?
So I love this because I went off. I had all the social medias as everybody does, and I got really bored and tired of it. And I was on there all the time. Okay, well, what happens when I get this many likes? Am I going to feel better about myself? Am I going to like what I'm posting more? The answer is no. Well, the answer will always be no. So I deleted everything. And then 2020 came around and I thought, okay, well, what if I started using all the things that I'm learning in my classes and in my research on my own self? And so I went back on Instagram. And then I started posting things that I actually cared about, started connecting with people that actually, liked the same things that I did. And it wasn't what I thought other people wanted me to do. It was what I wanted to do. And since then, since 2020, I think it was April 2020 when I came on, as of like this morning, I've got almost 21,000 followers. And I think that's pretty cool because I'm proud of who I am on the internet. And I don't know if everybody can say that they're proud of who they are on the internet. I think a lot of us find fear with social media. And I'm trying to take it in a different approach and say, hey, this is who I am. If you like me, wonderful. And if you don't, that's totally okay. There's billions of other people on the internet for you to go find.
It's working.
Yeah. Just a quick question on the personal branding side. So Bella, do you feel that personal branding has evolved over the last, say, 5 to 7 years? Because you think about like when I just remember when everyone jumped on Instagram and the thing was to have the perfectly curated grid, right? Like just immaculate photos with all the same filters, et cetera, et cetera. Have you seen, just in your research and personally, have you seen just a shift to more authenticity? And if that's the case, then what can other CrossFitters actually learn or benefit from that?
Absolutely. So I think, back when Instagram was starting, it was all about the filters and making sure everything had that same color. You wanted to have kind of all the same color schemes. And it mattered a lot more of that, where I would say now people are thinking, okay, do my photos actually go well together? Does it represent what I'm doing in life? And if you scroll through my feed, you can kind of travel with me to events. You can travel with me to all these different things and places that I get to go and I get to do. And so it's much less about having all of the colors and the filters being the same. It's what story is my platform telling you? And I would say that my story is, hey, look how I've grown up through CrossFit. Look where it's taking me. And, let's talk about it and see where it can take you too. And something that I truly love is getting to be an MC. As I said, I meet all of the creatives. And so becoming friends with them is so fun because not only are they amazing people, but they'll create content for you. And then they'll give it to you and they're proud of their work. And then you can be proud of it too. And it looks good. It's on your feed. And it's funny, you can study the Instagram algorithm and you can put the hashtags and you can try to replicate all of the reels, all that you want. But at the end of the day, people just want to see you. Mm-hmm. And they want to actually enjoy your content. It doesn't matter if it's trendy. It doesn't really matter if the audio is viral yet. It doesn't matter. It's who you are. And so I think for me, that's been really important. And then there's times, I'll mess around. I'm like, okay, this is going viral right now. This is trending. Let's mess around. Let's do it. And it never feels authentic. Never once have I recreated a TikTok and felt, yeah, this is me. Yeah. Even with the cute little corn kid that I think that is so funny. It never feels like me. And that's okay. Because I guess it's just not. And it's not supposed to be me. Yeah. It doesn't have to be.
Well, you have a lot of people following you, obviously. What value do you hope to provide for people when they come to your page? They read your captions, they follow your story, as you say. Mm-hmm. What value do you hope that people take away from you?
I think joy. I want people to come to my profile and be happy. I want them to see it and say, okay, this person's pursuing their dream and it works. Mm-hmm. And she's really happy doing it. Not to say that it's not hard, but she's doing it. And there's also a place for me. So a question that I get honestly all the time when people send me messages, it's how did you get to where you are? What can I do? And I'll always answer. Anytime anybody asks, I will always tell them my story, how I got here, and I will give them advice on, hey, this is what you should do. This is what you could do. Let me know if you ever need anything. Because I think it's so easy to say, well, this is what I did. Good luck. Mm-hmm. That's not helpful. Not everybody's story, not everyone's journey is going to be the same. And then not everybody needs to have the same journey. Not everybody can. That's in the space. It's not limited, but it is. If there's only 5 of us that get to go to an event, there's only 5, but that doesn't mean there can't be 50 of us that are still doing the job. So I think when people come to me, I just want them to feel happy and feel confident that they can pursue their dream because I'm doing it now, but I'm also figuring out as I go along. I didn't even think that this was a real job a couple of years ago. I didn't even do the sport a couple of years ago. And then to think where I am now, think how I've changed, think how I've grown, think of where, the dream that I have now, it's crazy. And it's okay. Go be crazy.
Love it.
I saw a video, it's a couple of years ago. you just finished an e-course on personal branding. You had a number one goal in life and 300 things you wanted to achieve.
Oh, yes. Yes.
What was your number one goal?
My number one goal, I want to say, if I'm thinking about it, I think it was to meet Charlotte Jones Anderson, because she's been a brand icon to me for a while. So if you don't know who she is, she's Jerry Jones' daughter. And I think what she has done for the branding of the Dallas Cowboys is iconic. I want to meet her. I want to just shake her hand and say, thank you. That's it. Just hello. That's one of the goals. I recently moved, and so I actually like that you did a little research here. I like that you did that because I had written down all my goals. And I was looking at them and I'm thinking, wow, a lot of these don't even apply to me anymore. They're not where I am, because at the time I was working with a candle company. I helped create a candle company in 2020. We were selling white label candles to NFL teams, to athletes, to you name it, whoever needed it. And so I'm thinking, oh, I want to do a deal with this team. I want to do this. I want to become an ambassador for this company and this company. And the way that I thought I was going to go about it is so different than how a lot of it went down. One of those goals was to be an influencer for Lululemon. Okay, well, just by being a coach, you technically are an ambassador. But then I started realizing that when I was posting about my favorite products, people started to listen and they were thinking, oh, why do you like this product? Okay. And at the time I was obsessed with the Align tank. And this is so fun how social media works and how crazy it is. So my goal, I wanted to be an influencer for Lululemon. Okay, we'll talk about it because I love the brand. I was posting all the time. I was wearing it all the time. I had many colors and it was part of my brand, I would say. I had this idea of, well, what if we had an advent calendar for Christmas, but instead of doing candy and like little trinkets, we filled it with Align tank tops, because that's what I would want for Christmas. And I know probably 50 other women who would love that for Christmas. But I just tweeted out there in the world thinking, no one will ever see it. It's fine. The Lululemon office in Canada messaged me back and said, we're going to bring this to life. What's your address? They sent me this adorable box with stickers on it. It said 12 days of Align tanks filled with Align tank tops. And they all had numbers on them. So every day, just a new one. And that is so cool. That was a goal. And then from there, we created like, I'm on their influencer platform now. And so it's cool, but that is so much less important than what had happened from just, hey, I'm putting myself out there. I really enjoy this. This is a goal. Someday, maybe. What does that look like? I don't really know. But heck, how many people can say they've had Lululemon send them an advent calendar of tank tops? It's it's fun. And I would say something that I love to do is reflect on what my goals were and where they are now. When I graduated high school, I wanted to work in professional sports. I didn't know where. And I wanted to bring better people in ethics into the sports, because I was really frustrated with all of these not so good business guys getting in trouble for doing things and then reading the news. Why are they still allowed to play if they're treating people like this and they're doing this and that? Well, I'm not working in ethics. I don't work technically for, a professional sports team in the sense of the NHL, the NFL, MLB, but here I am trying to bring better people into my sport, CrossFit. And I would say it is becoming a professionalized sport. So here we are doing my goal many years later. It just looks a little different.
Have you rewritten your list of goals?
I probably should. I was thinking about it when I moved, and I thought, yeah, we should probably reevaluate. One of them was to go to Bali. So I'm going to leave that on there, though. I think that one will stay.
That's a good one.
Doesn't sound too bad. What were you shopping for today?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was actually on the Show Me Your Moo website. So I'm going to an A&M football game in November. It's my first game back after graduating and moving out of College Station. And I'm on their website looking at these really cute denim jumpsuits. And I filtered low to high, but the one before it was high to low. And I'm thinking, who's going to go and pick the most expensive jumpsuit when the one that's on sale for $128 is just as cute?
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. I know. But that's the reality. That's my brain. I'm shopping and I'm thinking, okay, what I'm going to do this because I know it'll come full circle, and 6 months from now, they're all going to cost the exact same price.
So who's your favorite CrossFitter you've met so far?
Oh, Annika Greer. That's the easiest one ever. I met her in Canada. She works with LSKD, and I would say she has the best attitude out of anybody I've ever met.
How about somebody you don't want to see? If you see him walking around the floor, you just don't you want to run away.
The next question.
Oh, okay. Not in a way that it's personal, I would say. Okay, someone who scares me. I think if I saw Colton Mertens coming at me, I would be nervous. Not because I don't like him. We've actually never met, but he's like intimidating looking to me. I think I'd be scared.
Fair enough. What is your ultimate goal in emceeing? I mean, this is right now, I assume, what you want to do. So in 5 years, where do you see yourself going?
So that's a really good question. And I actually think about this often because I think what is the ultimate goal for being an MC in CrossFit? Is it emceeing the games? Is it emceeing Wodapalooza? Is it emceeing Dubai? What does that mean? And I have no idea. How will I know that I've made it as an MC? I don't know. But I think once I can cross off all of the events off my bucket list, once I'm invited to work the games, that'll feel huge. But I don't think when that happens, I will feel that everything's over and I've done my goal. I think getting invited back to events is also kind of okay, you're making it if you get invited back. I just booked a couple events in London, Gold Coast in Australia, and then again, Dubai for next year already. I already have 26 events planned for 2023. And so to say that I have that shows me that I'm in the right direction, but I don't think there is really a goal. Of course, I want to go back to Miami. Of course, I want to go back to Australia for touring. I want to go to the games and I want to show the entire CrossFit world that I know what I'm doing, but I could also do that from local events too. So I think being a consistent presence would be my goal. I don't want to come in really hot and then no one ever hears from me again, or go to one big event and that's the only one that I get to go to. I think being a consistent presence in the next generation as it's happening, I think that'd be pretty sweet.
What do you hope to bring to emceeing? Like, similar to the social media question about what value do you want to bring? But when you're there, what is your vision for being the MC in that event?
Okay, I love this because I have a ton of fun. You could ask any event organizer, I am dancing 99% of the time. So I think adding an element of fun to it is what I want to do. I want to know what I'm talking about, know who's on the field. I want to get their names right. And I also want to have fun and hope everyone else has fun with me. I think an MC, our job is to be heard and not seen. But I think sometimes being seen is a good thing. My dance moves are terrible, but I'm going to do it because I love to dance. If the DJ plays ABBA, I'm out there and I'm having fun. And I think people enjoy that. And I think that's just me being myself. I'm goofy, I'm weird, I love to dance. And that's just what I bring to it. It's, hey, I'm going to have fun here. You're going to have fun. We're going to watch CrossFit. We're going to watch some serious people do some serious things. And it's going to be great. And you're going to remember it because of that. I think a lot of times people get caught up in the numbers. They get caught up with just making sure everything's said. But if I'm confident that I'm going to say everything, I'm confident that I know their names, I know the history of the workouts, know the history of the event, I'm good with all that. Why not have some fun doing it?
Yeah. How do you prepare for a competition?
Okay. So what I do is I will ask the event organizers or whoever's my point of contact to send me the list of names. I will typically, if it's a really big event that's kind of in importance, I'll pull all their Instagrams, look at them, see where they're from, see how many times they've gone to the games, see what they pronounce their name like, because I think that is one of those things, getting people's names right is so important, especially when you're on an international stage. It's, hey, I want to respect you as much as I can. And if your native tongue is not mine, then we got to figure this out. And I need you to tell me how to say your name because I don't want to disrespect anybody.
How'd you do that? How'd you do that in Madrid? Some of those names are wild.
Oh my goodness, yes. So what I did with one of my co-MCs, Joe, he's from Madrid. And so we went through the day before, pretty much every morning, we would go through and look at all the names and we're like, okay, this is this one, this is this one. And then we would talk to other people who knew them if it wasn't something that we were confident in. And then a lot of times you will find that if you just YouTube someone, especially if they're an athlete, they're on there talking about a qualifier and they'll put their name out there. And there's one name that was my favorite. Let's see.
Are you going to test what this is?
Yeah, I love this. So something that you will also find me doing is I will try to kind of speak in their, in their tones. And so when I was learning some of the Spanish names, I was trying to say them as best as I could so that they felt respected. I will say my favorite name that I've ever had to announce is Rachel Ta'omoa Fa'omuina, and she was at Torian Pro. And something that is, to this day, something that I hold on to is her husband, after the event, found me on Instagram and said, hey, I just want to let you know, thank you for saying our name right. That really means a lot to us. And I would be lying if I told you I was not terrified every time I said her name because I wanted it to be right. And to me, it was so important to just say the name right. And so when I did, I would say it in my head before I was going to say it out loud, and then I'd say it, but I got it right. And it meant a lot to them. And that's all I want, is that they feel that they're getting the credit they deserve. And I wouldn't think it's crazy for someone to pronounce my name correctly. So why would anybody else feel like theirs any different?
Yeah, I don't know how you pronounce that. I still.
We're still hung up on that.
yeah. That's wild, especially in the middle of a competition where you're talking about everything else.
Oh yeah, it's just being prepared. And I think every time you go to another country or you just have these international events like Waza, everyone's coming together, and then you kind of get a taste for it. You're like, okay, they're from this country. This is typically how their name is pronounced. Or they're from this one. This is how their name is pronounced. And then luckily, what the games does is they have all the athletes say their name into a microphone. So at that stage, something that I think is everyone's name should be correct. It shouldn't be surprising. Everyone should be on it all the time. And so I really, truly love and respect that they do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, how is getting into CrossFit? I want to go back to that. How did your lifestyle change? What was it before to what things did you change after you got into that?
So it's funny. So before I started CrossFit, I probably weighed about 105 pounds. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I won't talk about it. I think it's crazy cool. So I weighed about 105 pounds. I was a string bean. If you look at my graduation photos, I was tiny. There it is. Check that out. I was a tiny baby. And I would say my nutrition is it's definitely better now. And I don't think I was under eating by any means, but I think actually eating and enjoying it and saying, hey, I just worked out for an hour and a half. I'm going to eat enough protein today, and actually putting in that effort. Whereas before I was like, well, I'm not really hungry, or I had one meal today. I feel good. It was fine. And I honestly, that is kind of the biggest thing, is shifting from the, okay, I had one meal, I'm good, to you need to eat today. You got to eat all day. You need to have 3 meals. You're not going to go to the gym and do what you do if you're not eating today. You're going to feel like crap if you do too. Something that I think has also changed is I was going to the gym before, and I don't know if you could tell. It definitely doesn't look like it to where I'm at now, but I spend so much more time in the gym. And a lot of it's social, but a lot of it is fitness as well. As before, I'd spend time in the gym, but I wasn't talking to anybody. I'd have my hot pink headphones in. You're not talking to me at all. And I'd just stay there until I, felt like I was done. And then now I go in, I see all my friends, I see the people in class, we talk, I talk to the gym owners. It's so much more of an important part of my day. And I think that's what CrossFit does. It's the best hour of your day. Mine's not really an hour anymore. I'm there for a lot longer than I should. But it's the best hours of my day, I would say.
Bella, what's your favorite CrossFit movement and least favorite?
Favorite CrossFit movement is the snatch, because I think those that can do it really well, it's very impressive. it's so technical. Getting it correct is, I think it's beautiful. It's like an art. And I would say my least favorite is the dumbbell thruster, because whoever decided to do that is rude. With the barbells, not bad. The dumbbells just make it worse.
It's just mean. Yeah.
It's just mean. And for me, I follow CrossFit Mayhem, and I've followed them for about 1.5 years now. And I would say the movements that Rich has us do, we don't do dumbbell thrusters often, and I would probably say that's why I like the program. We do a lot of wall balls. I used to love them. No, I'm not so sure how I feel about them. So they're up there. They're up there too.
No.
Derek does the same, but he does the old man program.
So. Yeah, so there you go.
There you go. Yeah, there we go.
The old man program. Appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm right there with you.
We do the same. We do the same thing.
Have you been hurt doing CrossFit?
I have. So last year I came off a rope run, and I thought the tail of the rope had already kind of moved out of the way. It didn't. I crunched the heck out of my ankle. Yeah. And then that was actually, it was interesting because I think that was a better lesson for me, because then I started going to a Rosti and getting massages and actually taking recovery a little bit more seriously. Yeah. So thank you, rope, for hurting me. You were great. And then a couple months ago, I was doing cleans off the blocks, and I was super sweaty. It's Texas. It's disgusting, especially in the summertime. And my thumb had slipped down. That does not feel good. And I wasn't totally injured. I just had to kind of tape my wrist for a couple weeks. But I think I've been pretty fortunate about no injuries. And I want to say probably just being overly cautious is why I haven't destroyed anything except my ankle at this point.
And your mom told you that she knew you were going to get hurt, right?
Oh yeah, that woman. But here's my thing. When I was swimming, I tore my rotator cuff, and that hurt so bad. And so I'm thinking, well, if swimming's going to do that, and swimming's low impact, what bad could CrossFit do? I don't know.
Yeah. So you have a Whoop band. So what does recovery look like for you? Obviously, you're on the go pretty much constantly, it sounds like. So yes, what do you do for recovery?
So what I do for recovery, I sleep. I love to sleep. So typically I'll go to bed around 8:30. I get up at 7. That's my consistent when I'm at home. I'll drink Beam most nights, and that just helps me kind of fall asleep. When I'm on the road, I typically try to sleep as much as I can. I will say in Madrid, that didn't happen. They eat dinner at 10 p.m. And I found my recovery wasn't terrible in Madrid, except for the last day I had a 1%. Thank you, after party. But we were
1%.
That's the lowest, but it was the most fun. For me, it's sleeping. It's a lot of sleeping. And my friends will all make fun of me because I go to bed super early, but it helps me a ton. And and it's also hilarious. I don't really drink ever. And then when I do, look at what happens. Yeah, that 1% recovery. But something you will love to see is, let me pull up my Whoop. I have a crazy high HRV. So my HRV on average is 156. The highest it's ever been is 243. And then the lowest it's ever been is 14.
That's quite a range.
Yes.
Wow. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody that high before.
Me either. So I thought I was dying.
I know I saw Haley Adams have one. I think it was last year before the games, and it was, in the 150s, but I've never seen anything like that.
Mine today is 166, and I have 82% recovery. And then strain today was 13.4 from a workout. And that's kind of a normal day for me. 13 strains, pretty normal. 166 is pretty normal. I'm usually in the green. And I think I would attribute most of that to sleeping, and I don't really drink a ton unless it's a special occasion.
Yeah.
Are you able to train while you're traveling for all these events, or are you working all the time?
Sometimes. So what I like to do for the big events is I'll get there a couple days early, work out, get my routine, and try to figure that out, because I do think movement makes me feel better. So when we were in Spain, we worked out before, and then we did the Hard Work Pays Off programming that they had for the volunteers. They did their volunteer workouts. And I think every major comp should do something like that, where they have all the volunteers get to do workouts, because it clearly means so much to all of us to actually do CrossFit and to move. I think that's really amazing that they do that. The workout itself, we had to do burpees. And I told them, I said, if you put burpees in this, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I've been on my feet all day. They put burpees in it. They did it because of me, and it's fine.
At least it wasn't thrusters.
It's true. We didn't even have any equipment, so it's on them. So typically I will work out, and then if I'm traveling, if I'm leaving on a Friday, I'll work out Monday through Thursday, and then I'll take typically Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday off because we'll be working. But then that Monday I'm back in the gym, and then same thing if I'm leaving, any other time. I try to get in a workout the day before I'm leaving. If I can, I'll get a workout in the day of leaving, and then take 2 days to kind of travel and recover, because it wreaks havoc on your hips. It does not feel good to sit on a plane for 12 hours. So being mindful of that, you don't want to put yourself into a position where you're going to feel absolutely smashed and then not be able to recover from that.
You were at the games this year. Is that your first games, or did you go before?
No, I went last year, but this year was definitely different for me. So I went with the intention of working with Podium for a couple of their activations, and that's what we ended up doing. And then from there, I didn't have tickets. I just had a kind of a festival pass. And my thought was, I'll just buy the tickets the day of, so I can go to the events that I want to do, and I can go offsite when I want to go offsite, things like that. That is not what happened at all. So I get there that first day. I had the festival pass. I got tickets to go. I somehow managed to get the best seats ever, right behind lane 5 in the middle of the Coliseum, right down there. It was like 10 rows up. It was phenomenal. From there, my standards were set really high. I was thinking, okay, I'm not going to just spend $200 on a ticket that's not going to get me a good view. And what I found was, if I just put it out on the internet, my friends that work for CrossFit, they'll help me. They want me to enjoy my time. So one of my friends got me one of the colored wristbands to get me everywhere. So I got to go in the VIP area. I got a tour of the facility in the Coliseum. I got to go sit kind of wherever I wanted to sit. It was insane. I felt so special. And it was hilarious because I really shouldn't have had the wristband, but I felt very special. So it worked out, and it was the coolest experience ever.
The only better place is on the floor, right?
Oh, yeah. And I got to go on the floor and kind of look up at everything and really take it in. And I think it's so, you think it's going to feel one way when you walk out there, and it feels so much heavier than you could ever imagine. You walk out there and you think, wow, this is where it happens. This is where everybody does the amazing things that we love to watch. And here I am. I'm just standing here looking up at the lights, looking up at all the signage that tells me exactly where I am. And you feel it when you're on the floor.
That's great. I've kind of gone through my notes. I appreciate it. Derek, do you have anything?
No, actually just one question popped in my head, and I'm just very interested. So who do you think, man or woman, most underrated CrossFitter?
Underrated CrossFitter?
Like that one CrossFitter that's the sneaky one, right? That you've got to Yeah.
I would say Ariel Lowen. I said this when we did our games predictions, when I was talking with Lauren and Jamie, and I said Ariel Lowen because she's a mom, and that's part of her brand. She's a mom, but she's also an athlete, and she always does well. Yep. She rises to the occasion every single time. So I'm a huge Ariel Lowen fan, and I think it's really fun watching her succeed because she maintains this humility that not everybody has. She's excited and she's proud of the work she's done, but she knows that that's not her job. Her job is being a mom, and that's really sweet to watch her kind of dabble in both. And I just like good people, and she seems really good to me. So seeing her succeed, that feels good.
That's cool.
Well, I appreciate it, Bella. Thanks for jumping on to the first podcast of the barbell spin. So appreciate it, and good luck traveling to the beach brawl and all across the world.
Gotta keep up.
All right. Have a good one, everyone.
Nice talking with you.
Thanks, you guys.
See ya.
Bye.